Hello and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about what kind of kit and how much kit you need to pack when going on a holiday tour. But before that, you guessed it, roll the credits. Okay, so what to pack and what kind of things to pack when we go on a holiday tour. Not quite as simple as it seems, there's a lot to consider. First of all, we need to consider how long we're going away for. Are we going away for a week? Are we going away for 2 weeks? We need to consider what type of accommodation we'll be using. Are we going camping? Are we using hotels? We need to consider the time of year and the climate. Is it going to be hot? Is it going to be cold? Is it going to be rainy? Is it going to be a mixture? We also have to consider what type of locations that we're going to. You know, are we going to somewhere that's really remote where we're not going to have access to shops? Do we need to be self-sufficient for the whole of the week or the whole of the 2 weeks? And also we need to consider what kind of tour we're hoping to achieve. You know, if you're going on your own and it's going to be a rough and ready tour where most of your day is going to be spent riding and you're going to have short breaks where basically you're just going to be self-administration, you know, quick shower, something to eat and go to sleep. Or is it going to be a more relaxed type of tour where you may be having rest days, where you may stop in one place for 1 or 2 days, go out and do all the normal tourist things, sightseeing, walking around, visiting places. So, you know, all these things can dictate what type of kit and how much kit that we actually take. I'm going to be looking at doing a tour as in now, which is April in the UK. I have packed this bike for a 2-week tour if I was touring on my own. And also the type of tour would be where I do have access to shops, I'm not going completely remote, and I've packed the bike with a view that if I want a rest day I can make myself comfortable and stay in one place for 1 or 2 days. So what we will do, I will go through each box, and if you look on the channel there are other videos around the subject. One video on how to plan a tour, another video on how to actually pack the bike and where to pack things. What I'm going to do for this video, as I said, I've already packed the bike, so I will go into each box and explain the use of each box and what's packed in there and why it's packed in there. So without ado, we'll go to the left hand side box, which is my on the fly box. Everything that is packed in this box is what I will use during the day. So anything I might need to access, such as my flask with a warm drink in, or waterproofs, or perhaps a map, anything like that goes in that side. And the reason it goes in this side is because when you're touring in the UK and you stop at the side of the road, you don't want to be standing in the road searching through this box for stuff you need on the fly. For the simple reason, this side of the road is where the traffic is going to be passing. You've got your back to the traffic, so you can't see the traffic coming, and there's a lot bigger chance of an accident occurring. If you're on this side of the road, you know, you're up against the grass verge, or you're on the inside of the lay-by, it's a lot safer to turn your back. You've got a good view of the traffic coming both ways, and the traffic is separated by the bike, and there's less chance of getting hit by a passing lorry or car. Okay, on the fly bag, what do I have in here? Okay, right at the top, I have my flask, so when I stop at the side of the road and I want a quick brew, get my hands on it really easy. Other things that I keep in here, I will have one bag. And in this bag I will keep a fleece. 2 reasons for having the fleece. One, if I'm riding along and I get cold, obviously I can just take my jacket off, slip this on underneath, and it just gives me an extra layer. The other reason I have this is If I stop somewhere and let's say I want to go visit, walk around a castle or a waterfall, or perhaps go around the shops in a small town, and I don't want to walk around with all my heavy motorbike clobber on, I can take the jacket off, take the helmet off, pop those in the overflow box, which is the top box, pop this on, and I'm nice and warm. Also, I've got a spare pair of chunky dry socks. Obviously, this time of year, we're sort of coming on the edge of not needing these, but if I was riding in winter, definitely those would be in that box, so I could put dry socks on if I needed to. In the summertime or hotter climates, you could dispense with those and you don't really need them. Also, I carry a Gore-Tex jacket, and again, it's for if you stop anywhere and it's raining and you don't want to walk around in your big heavy motorbike jacket. Again, exactly the same as the fleece, same purpose. You can just pop that on and it'll keep you nice and dry while you're walking around doing your sightseeing. Again, these things are really lightweight. In here, again, something else for when you stop. If you don't want to be walking around with your chunky boots on, just a pair of trainers, slip your motorbike boots off. And obviously all this has gone out of this bag, so they'll fit in there now because this bag will be empty because you've took stuff out and you're rotating it round. Right at the bottom, I've got stuff that, you know, I wouldn't need during the day, but because of the amount of stuff you need to take when you're camping, I can't fit it all in the base camp box, which is the right hand side box. So these go right at the bottom, and all I have in here is a small camping chair. And you know, it's a bit of a luxury item. You could do without this if you wanted to save on weight, but it's a proper motorbike orientated seat, so it's designed to be extremely light. It's quite compact, and it's just nice at the end of the day when you're cooking your tea or having a beer to be able to sit by the side of your tent and comfort on a nice little chair. But again, you don't need to take that. You could do without that and save weight and save space. Again, these are ideal, get them from any camping shop. And all they are, they're just a little set of pans for cooking your food when you're in your base camp. But again, these things would never be taken out during the day, that's why they're right at the bottom. And then last but not least, something people always forget is just a little tea towel, so that when you're doing your dishes at the end of the day after you've cooked your food, you've got something to dry off your pots and pans and your mug. Again, you could dispense with that, you could let them drip dry. It's just all little luxuries. As I said, I've packed this as though I'm going to have a 2-day break here and there, or a day break here and there, where I'm not actually riding and I'm just staying in one place. So they're all little luxuries. But for example, those, that, most probably these, you could easily do without them if you really wanted to travel fast and light. So again, you can see that there's always kit you can cut down on if you need to, or you can add the extra kit for a little bit of comfort and luxury. And that is basically my on the fly box. One thing I didn't mention as well on the end of the Flybox, security chain. That is always just put at the bottom underneath. The reason I put it underneath instead of putting it on top of the bag, that is a heavy item, and you always want your weight as low down as you can possibly on the bike, because it just makes the bike handle better. It's easier to push it around when it's off its stand, getting it on and off its centre stand. And it's no hassle, just lifting this up, pulling it out, accessing it, popping it on your bike, popping this back in. Takes literally 2 seconds. So yeah, that also goes in the left hand side pannier. Okay, as we can see, the right hand side pannier, this one, it doesn't matter if you fill it until the absolute top, because during the day you're not going to be stopping and opening this side up. The only time you should be accessing your right hand side pannier is when you've actually stopped at your base camp, you've got to your campsite and you are ready to set up camp. So don't worry about overfilling this one. As long as you can shut the case lid, everything is fine. We'll have a quick look now and see what's actually inside this case. Okay, so on the base camp side, again, this is something that you could do without with. It's just a nice little luxury. In the morning when you want to brew, I like to be able to have a big cup instead of just drinking out of a flask top. Again, you can save on weight. Inside, carry things like hot chocolate, the 3-in-1 Kenko sachet, so you just pour your water in, tip it in, and you've got a brew ready to go. Keeps your brew warm as well, you're not rushed drinking it, flies aren't going to get in there and things. This jet boil, these are absolutely brilliant godsends. This is what I do all my cooking on. It's really compact. You've got the unit down there, you screw the bottom off. This screws on like so. He says. That screws on like so. Your gas canister just screws on the bottom. There are little legs, a little tripod that you can put out, and so that it all sits like that. And then you can pop your water in there, you can pop your food in there. What I tend to do, I tend to have a spare canister, and I have one just for boiling water and one for cooking food in. I also have the pots and pans if you want to cook bacon and things like that. But like I say, you could do without the pots and pans that I showed you earlier and just have one canister. The only reason I have two canisters is that if you boil your water after you've been cooking in it, beans and things, you get an aftertaste if you don't clean it really well. So it's just a little luxury, but you can do it with just the one, no problem. Another thing as well that I take, if you look, I always pop a little sponge in the bottom so that I can clean things out after, and it also stops the gas bottle rolling around inside and rattling and damaging the interior. This again, this is a godsend. This is an inflatable roll mat. It just insulates you off the floor, stops you from getting cold, and also just gives you that little air cushion underneath, so it makes you comfortable for sleeping on. Sleeping bag. Now, as I mentioned earlier, for this time of year, you can get away with this this tog, is what they call it. For the comfort temperature is 9 to 14 degrees, extreme is 0. So you can get away at this time of year with one of these bags. You can wear clothes when you're inside to keep you warm, to add extra warmth if need be. Obviously, if you were going away to colder climates or in a colder time of year, then you would have to take a bigger, thicker sleeping bag. And then really you would have to put a bag on the back of your bike as well as using your boxes, because obviously the thicker the sleeping bag, the bigger bulk you're carrying. This is the other jet boil, and as you can see, it's a bit of a luxury having two of them. But I also have in there, I'll have a tin opener, I have the jet boil cutlery. It's plastic, it's lightweight, but it's robust as well. It's not going to snap or break on you. That is exactly the same as the other one. And I use the red one for water, I use the black one for cooking food in. You can actually use the bases as cups as well, but you know, another reason why you can do without this cup if you don't want to. But I just like my little luxuries. If I was most probably going on a tour where, you know, it'd be long days riding with hardly any stopping and I wasn't having lots of rest days, then I would only take one jet boil. I'd cut down on a lot of stuff. These little bottles, shower gel from hotels, save them, put some fairy liquid in, some washing up liquid, and then when you come to wash all your utensils at night, you can give them a good clean and they aren't getting greasy and dirty and you're not packing them away and they're all horrible and mingled. This is the tripod leg that I spoke about. That just fits on the bottom of there like so. So if you want to kick in the barrel mouth of your tent, if it's raining, if it's windy, you're not worried about knocking your Jetboil over, because they do sit quite high. But when they're on there, they're really stable and there's no way you're going to knock that over. What else do we have in here? Okay, clothes. Daily clothes. And I go on a 2-week tour. I take 3 days. Obviously you've got the clothes that you're going in, so that gives you 4 days. And every day when I open this, you will see what I have inside. Underwear, 1 pair of socks and a base layer. Now these base layers you get from outward bound shops like Mountain Warehouse, places like Aldi and Lidl have deals on where they do all outward bound type of things. And they're really light, they whip moisture away, they're breathable, they make a really nice base layer for motorbikes. And you know, I had this one, this is one of my cheap ones that I had, and I think I had this most probably from Aldi when they were doing an offer on, and I paid about £5 for it about 10 years ago. And it's lasted and it does the job really well. And each one of these, each day is packed exactly the same. So you'll see this one. Exactly the same. A base layer, underwear and socks. And obviously when you take your dirty ones off, you just rotate it round and you use the bags, and then come the 3rd or 4th day, do a little bit of washing, and then you're good to go again for another 3 or 4 days. This base layer, this is a Berghaus one. This one, again, most probably over 10 years old. It's lasted really well, but then again, this one was £5 from Aldi. It's lasted just as well, it does just the same job. That was £5, this was most probably about 35, 40 quid 10 years ago. But, you know, I like the design of it, it's a good make. You could easily go and sit in a country pub outside having a drink wearing that and you wouldn't feel out of place. So it's just horses for courses, it's what you want to do. You know, they're really lightweight, so again, you're cutting down on the weight in your bag. This, I won't open this, it's packed exactly the same. Okay, any toiletries, most important thing, toilet roll. Microfiber towel. Again, that's quite a big one. You can get smaller ones than that, but you know, when you go for a shower or you go for a wash, I like to have quite a big towel. But you get the travel ones, the microfiber, they're really lightweight. Again, you can pay for branded ones and you can pay anything up to £20 for a towel. You can go to places like Aldi or even on Sunday markets and you can pick up a microfiber travel towel for about 6 or 7 quid. Cheaper than that if you have a small one. And they work exactly the same, it's whatever you want. Toiletries, again, this is quite a big pack, but it will be because I was going for 2 weeks. You could cut this right down and make it a lot smaller. Again, when you go to hotels and you get the free soaps, always take them with you because they're ideal. You know, if you're only going away for a week, a couple of these will do you, and it really cuts down on size. Again, I've got more stuff in here than I would normally take, so I just want to show you the different things. Again, you can get your travel style soaps, which are ideal rather than taking a big jar of shower gel. Small deodorant. You know, I'm as bald as a coot, so I don't need shampoo, but you can get your little shampoo bottles from your hotels and that, keep them, you can refill them and use them. Small mouthwash, and then obviously in here it's just basic toiletries. It's not rocket science. Like I say, you can pack them down smaller than that in a smaller pack. I just like having that pack because it's easy to deal when you're walking to and back from a shower block. And then in here, again, you can do without this completely, but because I'm going on the type of tour where I'm going to have a couple of days where I'm going to be in a base camp and not just riding all day long. So when I'm mooching about by my tent, these type of trousers, they're walking trousers, and they are extremely thin and light. They keep the midges off you when you're sitting outside. If it starts going cool at night, they'll keep your legs warm. In the daytime, you can zip the legs off, so you've got a pair of shorts. If it's warm enough to go swimming somewhere, you can use them as swimming shorts. They dry so quick, they aren't see-through when they're wet. They've got so many uses, it's brilliant. You can wear them at night when you're in your sleeping bag as an extra base layer if it's a little bit on the cold side. So these, 9 times out of 10, even if I was going on a tour where it's going to be long days riding and only short times with no days off, I'd still most probably take these with me. These are an excellent piece of kit. Now, in this bag, I've got trousers going out in. So, for example, if you thought you might be going to restaurants, or you're walking around in the day and you don't want to wear your motorbike jeans, or you want something a little bit more upmarket than going around in walking clothes, I've got these, but they're dual purpose. They're actually motorbike riding trousers, so they've got the aramid lining inside. So if I get a warm day and it gets really hot and I don't want to be wearing my textiles, I can take them off, put them in the bag, and I can wear these during the day on the bike while I'm touring around. They've got the armour in. You can actually remove the armour if you feel self-conscious. Once I've got them on, I don't think anybody really notices it. It doesn't really stick out. They're designed to be quite casual. So again, you can do without this. I mean, it's quite a heavy item, it's quite a big item, it's a luxury item to take with you, but it is dual purpose, and for the type of tour that I'm going to do this time, I'm going to take these with me. And then last but not least, I've just got a nice civilian t-shirt, so I can pop that on with those trousers, put my trainers on that are in my on the fly bag, and I'm good to go. I can go around any town, around the pubs, not a problem, without standing out and looking as though I'm straight off the campsite. And so, there's quite a lot of kit on there. You can mix and match, as I say. You could do away with that, you could do away with that, you could do away with that and get a smaller package of that. So, you can do away with a lot. There's always kit you can cut down if you think you've got too much. Obviously, there are other times where you'll need to add kit. As I said, if it's a really cold time of year, you're going to need, most probably not more kit, but the kit's going to be thicker, it's going to be chunky, it's going to be harder to pack, so you may need more room to pack, and that's when you would be putting a bag on the back of the bike as well as your boxes. So that is the base camp side of things. So what we'll do now, we'll go into the top box and I will show you how the overflow system works that I use. Okay, looking into the top box, it's quite difficult for me to get a good camera angle in here because obviously my bag's quite high with the top box. It looks quite full, but in actual fact it's not. I've got the tent in there, I've got the tent pegs, the hammer, everything for erecting the tent in there. I've got waterproof trousers, waterproof jacket and a first aid box. Up here I've got spare gloves, a hat, I've got some bungee cords, something I mentioned in one of my other videos, a tour book. Down here I've also got a map, a road atlas for the whole of the country. I've also got a pair of overboots, I don't know if you can see them, so that if it's absolutely tipping it down, you can wear those. One of the things that I will say is sometimes I may have this in a other bag that is strapped across the back of the bike. If I was going touring with my wife, I'd have to take a bigger tent because we like to share the same tent, so that wouldn't be in here. I use this as the overflow, so when I stop and I want to walk around places, you might be saying to yourself, well, how on earth are you going to get your jacket and how on earth are you going to get your helmet in there? There's not much room. But what you do is, when you put your helmet, your waterproof jacket goes inside your helmet, so straight away that disappears. Your tent will come out, and on the Flybox, you're going to take your Gore-Tex jacket out, you are going to take your fleece out, you're going to take your trainers out. So this tent will then go in that space in there, which leaves this box completely empty. With the box completely empty, this is I think it's a 47 litre top box. I can easily get my helmet in there and I can get my jacket in there, not a problem. Again, when you haven't got your helmet in there, even with the kit that's in here now, like I say, if you stop and you want some supplies, buy some food just before you get to your camp, you stop at a local Spar or a Co-op or something like that, or a Morrison's, whatever store you come across, you know, you've still got room to put a little bit of shopping in there. You can put your water bottle in there and things like that. So that's how the overflow works. Like I say, try and keep it as empty as you can, otherwise it just doesn't work. The other thing is as well, when you've got this this space in here, you never know what you use it for. You know, you might go into a tourist shop and buy things. You can cut down on the size, you know. You might not travel with waterproofs. You might say if you've got a textile suit, you don't have to use waterproofs. The reason I take them is with textile suits, unless you've got a laminate one, they do soak up water. Even though they don't let water through, they do soak up water. And there's nothing worse than having a damp wetsuit in the tent with you at night. So, you know, if it's just a little shower and I think it's going to go off within half an hour, and I've got time for my suit to dry out, I wouldn't bother stopping and putting my waterproofs on. However, if it looks like I'm in for a day of rain and it's set in and I'm halfway through the tour, I'm going to pop these on over the top of my textile suit, just so it doesn't get waterlogged and it isn't absolutely soaking, dripping wet when I come to put my tent up and put everything in the tent. So that's how that works. It's not rocket science. I've got my sat nav in there as well. What I tend to do, if you're into video blogging or recording your trips, and you take your GoPro, your camera, your batteries and your sat nav and all things like that, I will have a tent bag, and everything like that will go in the tent bag. So that is how I pack my bike. Okay, I've got a few items here that I haven't shown you and that I wouldn't be taking at this time of year. However, in different climates for different types of touring, these are sort of things that I would use. So I mentioned in winter time, if it's really cold, bigger, thicker sleeping bags. You can see the difference in size from the little small sleeping bag that I would take now for the type of weather we have in April. This takes a lot more room up. You are going to have a bag strapped across the back of your bike, across the back of the seat when you're taking warm kit like this. Different types of internal bags you can use. These compression sacks, they're waterproof, and you can put clothes inside, seal it, and then use the straps. You can see it's exactly the same sort of system that they use on the sleeping bags, but you can put your clothes in there. They're really good pieces of kit. In the summertime, you know, if you're going to warmer climates, micro fleece. Again, this is a Berghaus one, but you can buy the cheaper brands and they work just as good. There's absolutely no difference, believe me, I've tried them. I always ride in one of these. They're an excellent mid layer. I'll have the base layer, which is the really thin t-shirts that I was showing you, then I'll have one of these, then I'll have my jacket on. And you know, I've got that big North Face fleece in there. If you're going in summertime, there's no need to take such a chunky fleece. You can substitute it with one of these, and again, they don't look half bad. You could sit in a pub with that on and nobody would notice, and it takes up less room, less weight. That is another option that you can use. I mentioned if you're going somewhere and you're maybe having 3 or 4 days in one place, save going back and forth with a small water bottle. These fold up, I think they're 5 litres, I think. Absolutely brilliant pieces of kit. You can fill that up when you get to the campsite, have it by the side of the tent, save you up and down like a yo-yo to the water tap. And when you're finished, it'll compact down. There's no weight to it, it's ultra light, and you can just slot that in wherever you can fit it in. Another great piece of kit. These, in the winter time, It's an expensive piece of kit, but I mean, I've had this well over 10 years. It's a down jacket, and anybody who's ever felt a down jacket, they're featherweight light, and that's because all their filling is just feather. It's just, I think it's goose down, and they're just amazing. They keep you so warm. You can pop this underneath your jacket while riding in the day if you're really cold. There's another layer, and it'll keep you really warm. You can sleep in it at night. It's breathable. It will keep you mega warm if you're in a sleeping bag that isn't warm enough for the weather you're in. And they compress down. They compress down so small, it is unbelievable. So this is a really good item to take for most of the year. You don't need it in summer, but in autumn, spring, winter, that is an excellent piece of kit. These are aimed at sort of walkers, mountaineers. This is a British make, Montaigne, and they are, again, really lightweight trousers. They dry really quick. You can unzip them at the side so that you can slide them over boots if you don't want to take your boots off, and the press studs come undone and you can open them up. And then inside they have a lining, and it's like a micro fleece lining. And again, if you're going away in winter, these are excellent to wear in your sleeping bag, to wear around campsite while you're sitting out at night and stopping you from getting a chill. They can be a little bit bulky, not too bulky. They do compress down fairly well. Not as good as the other trousers that I showed you, but they are an excellent piece of kit to use in cold climates. And then, obviously, something really simple, a hat. You know, if you're sitting around at night and you want a hat, that is brilliant for in the winter time. Just a woolly hat, a couple of quid off the Sunday market, blown in. Sometimes in summer I'll take a peak cap, or I will take like the jungle hat with the brim on, stops your ears getting burnt. And then last but not least, this type of boot. Again, this is an excellent type of boot. It's waterproof, it's designed for motorcycle use. You can see it's got the protector on the toes for the gear selector. And it just looks casual, you know. It's got the heel protector, toe protector and ankle protector in there, waterproof. You can go down the pub with these, you can ride with in the day. You know, if you're going in warmer climates, especially for summertime riding, it's a nice boot to take. You can save on weight by taking your big chunky. I like to wear high boots just below the knee. But sometimes if I'm only going on a short ride, or if it's summertime, I might pop those in instead of my trainers, and then I've got the choice if I want to ride in the day. If I don't want a big clumpy boot, I can wear one of those. They are quite big and chunky though, you know. It's easy to pack trainers and pack those, but it's whatever floats your boat for the time of year and the type of tour you're going on. Okay, one thing I haven't mentioned is tools. You'll find that tools are quite specific to your bike. The best advice I can give you for tools is get out your tool set, go around your bike and look at every type of fastener and screw and bolt and nut on your bike. Find the correct size tool for it and then pop that into your toolkit. You'll find that you don't actually need to carry that many tools. Don't carry any more than you need to, because tools are a heavy item. I don't bother that much with tools, to be honest. I like I say, I just carry the bare minimum. I've got a couple of screwdrivers, I've got Allen keys, a couple of sockets, a ratchet, a couple of spanners, but they all fit a specific fastener on the bike. I don't take anything. The only thing that I take that is universal is I must probably take a small pair of mole grips. I carry wire connectors, you know, the solderless ones. I carry one of the little blowtorch lighters. It's tiny, it's literally a couple of inches high, and it's just so that if I get a snapped wire or I get a bad wire and I need to replace it, I'll do a review on it actually, because it's hard to explain. But yeah, they're like a little solder sleeve, a sleeve of soldering where you can connect wires together. I carry a small box of those, small box of fuses, cable ties, both the metal kind and the plastic type. I carry some gaffer tape. But I'll do another short video on what tools that I take on the bike and what I take as in spare parts. Basically, on that side of thing, I'm not that bothered. I use the AA. If I break down and I can't fix it, I'm not bothered. I'll just get on the phone and call the AA. With modern bikes, it's very rare that you break down anyway, as long as you keep on top of your maintenance. You can carry the puncture repair outfit. I've actually done a review on something called Bike Seal. Have a look on the channel. By having that solution in your tyres, you don't need to worry about punctures ever again. So it's a good one to check out. Other than that, I can't think of anything else to say on tools. Like I say, I will do a short review on tools. It's a short video, so look out for that. It will be uploaded soon. Okay, so as you can see, lots of things to think about when you're going on a tour. Lots of different kit you can take, lots of different ways of packing your bike. The kit I've shown you today, how I pack my bike, sort of medium level. I can travel a lot lighter than that if I want to. However, you know, I've got a little bit of luxury. I'm not carrying a lot of weight on the bike. I've fitted it all in boxes. I don't need to put a bag on the back of the bike. So it's a happy medium between travelling really light and travelling really heavy. Like I said, you tailor it to what kind of tour you're doing. If I was going away for a week, I would take less kit. If I was going on the type of tour where I'm covering a lot of distance each day and I wasn't stopping for rest days, I would take less kit. However, if it was winter or if I was going somewhere and I was going to travel out and stop in one place for a week, I would most probably take more kit. I have to take more kit when I travel with the wife, basically because I take a bigger tent, we take more stuff. She does have stuff on her bike, but we don't load it up too much because she doesn't like the weight, so I tend to put more weight on my bike. As you do more and more tours and more different type of tours at different times of the year and in different places, you'll get your own way of doing things and you'll find your own feel of what you need to pack and what sort of kit you like. Well, I hope that this has been a little bit helpful. It hasn't bored you too much. If it hasn't, give me the thumbs up, subscribe. I have got other things coming on the channel. I'm going to do some more reviews. I'm going to be looking at Raxid adventure boots. I'm going to be looking at sat navs, lots of different things coming up that I'm going to review, and then hopefully when the lockdown's over, I'm going to be going out doing some on the road footage, because I know the channel's really lacking the on the road footage. So all the bikes I've reviewed I'll actually take out on the road and sort of do a part 2 follow up and give you some on road footage and thoughts. Well, thanks again. Bike Rider out.